Welcome to Friday Night Party Line. I'm your host, Victor Frost, and it is episode 80. Today in the show, it's back to the core crew, and of course, starting off, we have our resident Australian and badass extraordinaire, though tonight, he appears to be a V8 suicide machine. We have Churba. Hey, Churba.
Hey, man, what's up?
It's all good. I'm getting ready for a big show coming up, but more on that later. It's not this one.
Damn it.
Next, and then we have Nelson. Hey, Nelson.
Hello.
Nelson has recently reacquired gainful employment in his awesome coding work. Nelson, you're excited for your new gig? It's gonna be great, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm joining the team at New York Magazine. It's a little tiny magazine. You may have heard of it.
I've not, no.
Nah.
Well,
from a little town.
Well, being 3,000 miles away,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, and we got a good show coming up today. We're gonna try to move right along through it. Okay, so not stopping for breath, we've got a bit of a heavy topic: the ethics of cyberization. We are entering a really interesting new medical age. We have prostheses that move through mind control. We have prostheses that are actually allowing their users to sense feedback from them. We've got surgeries that give sight to people who can see, hearing to people who were never able to hear before. We're doing pretty good in terms of the surgeries and the awesome medical advances. But a recent article.
Superman does good. We're doing well.
We're doing well. Recent article from Motherboard, though, brought up a really interesting question. Namely, who is to blame when someone hacks your cyber arm? Back in May, DARPA pretty triumphantly announced that its DECA arm, which is its own sort of prosthetic arm, really good articulation, good battery life, that sort of thing, was secure enough to be approved by the FDA for circulation to military amputees. Unfortunately, though, this sort of brings up a question, especially when you have computers integrated into any sort of component. What is the possibility of someone hacking it? There was a proof of concept a while back ago when a guy from New Zealand, Barnaby Jack, demonstrated that he could hack into insulin pumps. Why an insulin pump would need wireless. No, that's kind of a stupid thing, anyways. But anyways. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of questions that are brought up now that we have prostheses that are more, shall we say, more advanced than just a bit of wood with some hinges on it. So, is there sort of, where is the, first of all, we'll get to the core ethics part of this in a bit, but what is, should there be some, obviously... Give me a moment. The thoughts just sort of ran away from me.
You need a prosthetic brain, mate.
I do. I need a prosthetic brain, so then I could go into my little Jameson box. So prosthetic.
Paint dicks on your box with pinstriping.
I would jab you with my little hydraulic arm thingy. But obviously, computer-controlled prosthetic limbs is the future, and it is a big question as to whether or not that if someone has a prosthetic arm, how does one define the legal liability for someone with a prosthetic arm?
I think it should be. From what I can tell, I think it should be the same as any kind of software. Like, if your phone gets hacked, yes, it's the hacker's fault, but also Apple releases a security patch, or Android releases a security patch. It's kind of a two-pronged thing. Because, yes, you shouldn't make insecure software, but also all software will be hacked.
Well, even beyond the software security aspect, say, I'm going to give a sort of, I'm going to give a hypothetical situation there. In fact, I'm going to steal this pretty much directly from Ghost in the Shell, since it's like the predominant media that has prosthetic limbs and these sorts of situations. This situation actually did exactly come up in the show. That say you have a situation where a guy has a prosthetic hand, prosthetic arm, and he has not updated the firmware in a while purposefully, so that there are some bugs in the firmware, and he knows that the bugs exist, and he goes and murders someone and then blames it on the bug.
Well, as a web developer, I think it should be required under penalty of death to always upgrade your software.
That may be a bit more literal for a prosthetic heart.
Yeah, but how are you going to kill
software.
someone with your prosthetic heart? Are you going to rip it from your chest and beat them to death with it?
It's not you killing other people, it's other people killing you.
Yeah.
How's that my problem? I'm 100% natural except for the
Other people killing you. Well, I mean, I'm honestly hoping that by the time I'm, in my grandpa years, we have full prosthetic bodies, because I want to live forever. So.
I don't know if I'd want a prosthetic body, though. I mean, I could just, okay, not full time.
Not full time.
How about this? You spend most of your year in the cloud, in the new sphere, that we build from the asteroid belt.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you take a holiday back on Earth in your prosthetic body whenever you want to. I think that would be good. I feel like once you could do mind uploading, constraining yourself to a humanoid shape is, it's novel, and it's, interesting for a while, but I feel like eventually you'd be like, okay, now I'm going to go back to the cloud and, expand a little bit.
But if you have the power to do that, why not do both? Why not simultaneously be in the cloud and on the ground?
That's true.
Parallelism.
Because which you is you? Both. Because you are the one unified you who is controlling both you in the cloud and you in the not cloud.
And now we sort of tripped over ourselves into the ethics part of this, because of so much of our social code and legal system and the general ethical constructs of our society is based around the idea that you are the only you, and thus, you yourself are ultimately responsible for anything you do, and you are treated as a singular unit. When it comes to the point of cyberization, where, for example, and I've had this discussion on more than one occasion with a couple of my friends. Predominantly, it's the Christian friends that seem to have the most trouble with this. The conversation basically goes like this: man, wouldn't it be awesome if I could actually get a full prosthetic body? And they're like, no, because then you wouldn't be you. I'm like, yo, why wouldn't I be me? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I hope our listeners are familiar.
Nelson's gonna lay this shit down.
Yeah. So some of our listeners may be familiar with the concept of Theseus's ship.
Ah, yes. I can never remember the name. Yeah.
You have a ship, and you take a board from the ship and start building a new ship. And you do that one at a time, replacing the old boards with new boards, slowly building a new ship out of the old ship. Which is the ship? And the answer is both. Both of them are Theseus's ship. They're Theseus's ship in two distinct ways, though. One is the ship as the form. What's the phrase? Yeah, it's the ship as the form, or the ship in the moment, which is, this is the ship. The other one is the ship in, historically. This is the continuation of the ship.
But if you're moving the board from one construction of the ship to the other, it is ceasing to become the same. Is ceasing to be the same ship that it was. Is
yeah, but I
some
mean,
people would say.
when you apply it to consciousness, we're always Theseus's ship, because we're constantly changing. And if you took a scan of my brain, 1 millisecond later, they would have diverged.
Right.
And 1 millisecond after that, the brains that existed will have diverged from the brains that they were a millisecond ago. Like, the consciousness is weird, and we don't understand all of it yet, but basically, self-identity is important, and the agency that we give to other people is what we base a lot of our governance and morality on. And so if someone considers themselves to be Theseus's ship, that is an identity they can have. And legally speaking, they're separate entities, but there are ways to kind of make a legal system that respects that. The bigger problem, I think, is the problem of the legal system versus the deterministic universe. Because, like you said, our legal system is based on one singular agent who is intentionally doing bad things.
Right.
And if you either parallelize it, in which case you might be able to get away with only, punishing the specific...
The iteration.
Yeah. But the concept of intentionality is in itself problematic, and neuroscientists are discovering that it's really not as intentional. Like, there's a lot of things that we attribute to intentionality that really aren't.
I mean, the very fact that we can alter what a brain would do by filling it with different chemicals, in the form of like antidepressants or stimulants or whatever, is very much a shot across the bow at the idea of free will and agency.
Yeah, I mean, there's the apocryphal case of the man who one day kills his family, and then it turns out he has a tumor that, when removed, gets rid of his want to kill his family.
Oh, no. That's not just an apocryphal tale. There is actually a case very similar to that of a man who was watching pedophilia. Pedophilia. What is it?
Kitty porn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The words weren't coming to my brain. Ha! Words weren't coming to my brain. Was watching kiddie porn, and it turns out that he had a severe chemical imbalance in his brain that, when it was fixed, he didn't want to do it anymore. And while he still had that imbalance, the FBI came and they took him, and he's like, "Yes, I know exactly what I've done here. I cannot stop myself." All that kind of jive.
I mean, part of making our laws and our system of justice work with kind of post-human thinking and contemporary neuroscience, I think definitely there has to be a shift from punishment to rehabilitation. Because the guy who was watching kiddie porn and then his brain got fixed, basically, and then doesn't want to do it anymore, he's not going to do it anymore. Like, he's, rehabilitated, basically, from a
pedophile
yeah, like, that is exactly the kind of case study that, would be a promotion of, rehabilitation rather than punishment. Because what will punishment do in that case? Like, what is its motivation? Its motivation is
societal revenge.
Yeah, it's revenge against an intentional action from a person. But if they're,
although in this case it wouldn't be an intentional action, it would be he couldn't help himself.
Also, you must consider the escalation of punishment that would be necessary, because how can we punish someone considering our traditional punishment for wrongdoing is taking away someone's freedom for and autonomy for a set period of time, when that person could theoretically say, live forever, so you're not taking with regular maintenance, so you're not really taking away a section of their finite lifespan. And as for removing their autonomy and just the boredom of the whole thing and, not being able to do anything you want, so what if this person can just slow their clock speed so significantly that all of that time passes in the blink of an eye?
I know.
Yep.
It's like the reverse of the problem we were talking about with the movie Her, where her clock speed is so much faster than his that there's a gap of lifetimes between words.
Yeah.
What if you just reversed that? Prison would be like a blink of an eye.
I mean, I suppose what you could do is you could try to isolate the person's consciousness in basically a computer with a fixed clock speed, and then you would basically be putting them in solitary and forcing them to operate at a speed. But I mean, at which point you get questions like, okay, you have not only trapped a person's body, but you have trapped a person's. You're no longer trapping a person's body. You're trapping a person's mind. In jail, at least today, you have the ability to converse with others. You can, read books. You can, learn. But if you are now isolated, then you are, it gets to the point of inhumane punishment, at which point hopefully we'd have solved the definition of what exactly is human.
Yeah. Yeah. Retribution is not good. No. And it is a holdover from a more primitive age. We should.
You also have to. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying we should try to get past it as a society.
We also have to consider that another method of punishment that would inevitably be proposed is if we have the ability to. Well, if someone has the ability to, say, hack into someone's cyber body or brain and make them do things or see things Ghost in the Shell style, that would also leave open the option of punishment of altering someone's mind. But at what point would that become inhumane and wrong?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just show a person scary ass shit, okay, is that now torture? And then, even years before this conversation, there was on the show Reboot. I'm going to a cartoon for an example of ethics now.
That is the best show.
Yeah, there was and I can't remember the name, but I remember this example. The main protagonist, Nelson, help me out with the names here.
I was in elementary school when I saw it.
Okay. So the good guy, the hero of the show, has captured one of the big bads, and it's all computer programs and shit in there. So the hero of the show has gotten this idea that, hey, what if we reprogram the bad guys? So he's got the bad guy locked up, and he says, I'm not going to keep you locked up. The bad guy says, well, what are you going to do? He says, I'm going to reprogram you so you're a good program again. And the bad guy is like, that is a worse punishment than even death, because now you're not just locking me up, you are taking away from me what makes me me.
Also, you're thinking of Bob and Megabyte.
That's it, Bob and Megabyte, that's the one.
Yeah, there's a lot of ethical issues around behavioral modification, to put it lightly. One of the interesting things that I happened upon recently was an article about trying to create what they called an eigenmorality. Basically, you know how PageRank works with Google search?
Right.
Where it basically it uses linear algebra to figure out the kind of circular pattern of what is most important on the internet. And it's circular because things are important if important things link to them, right?
Right.
And so it was trying to do some experiments with morality and trying to build a kind of, not a reputations economy, but like a morality system where, the assertion was people are moral if moral people think they are moral, right?
Yeah, it's the whole idea of moral relativism.
Yeah, if they help moral people and either, depending on your assumptions, either hurt non-moral people or don't help non-moral people. Those differentiations are Eigen Moses for hurting people that are not moral, and Eigen Jesus for turning the other cheek. And they created some algorithms, and they applied them to computers that were doing iterated prisoners' dilemmas.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually found that in a lot of cases, both of those two systems reflected, our kind of contemporary Western morality, generally speaking. But when you had groups of systems that were colluding, like, for example, if you had a large majority of, a certain kind of program, and you had a minority of another kind of program, it would break down, because if the majority thought the minority were immoral, then they would become, in this system, they would be thought of as more moral to be not good to the minority, and the minority, who were good to each other but bad to the majority because they were basically being oppressed, were actually considered less moral.
So
basically,
basically,
you can see how this would break down.
So basically, a mathematical proof of group assholery.
Yeah. And so
also, mathematical proof that Google's algorithm is straight up racist, yo.
It is. It basically, when you get into situations like that, it just totally breaks down. So more testing is needed, but the initial idea that you can create a mathematical model of, if not morality, but like a codified set of ethics for a single society, because different societies have different codes of ethics.
Right.
But, not a universal morality, but a societal kind of code of ethics.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's possible. I think it's very difficult, but I think it's possible in most cases. There will always be edge cases. It's like Newtonian physics. It works for most things. It doesn't work when things get weird. But using something like that, I think if we based our system of punishment and societal ethics on something that was more like that, rather than like a system of punishment and rampant corruption of the prison industrial complex and things like that, I think that wouldn't solve all the problems, but it would definitely help.
But look on the bright side. Our current system of punitive punishment did result in Orange is the New Black.
That's true, but who will be punished for it? Because someone will be.
I'm sorry, your particular phrasing there indicated that somebody should be punished for the creation of Orange is the New Black.
Oh, it's a good show.
It
would be better if everyone were cyborgs, but...
Speaking of, Ghost in the Shell arrived.
It would also be a lot more boring because everyone's just slowed their clock speed to nothing.
Yeah.
Everyone's just sitting very still.
Everyone's racing.
Lesbian sex in their brains.
Everyone's racing to the heat death of the universe. Actually, it was just as a sort of an aside, Nelson, your comment on how different ethics are different around the world. I had read an article recently about how Ashley Madison had opened up in Japan. And apparently, Japanese people aren't really all that concerned about it. Ooh, that was weird. Yeah. My sound got all pixely. Apparently, Japanese people aren't all that concerned about having affairs. Yeah.
Japanese people are weird about sex.
They are.
Not in a bad way, but
No.
definitely.
They confuse our Western conceptualizations.
Ah, but do you know what confuses Japanese people?
We do?
Swearing.
What?
The Japanese language, as well, I would say as I understand it, but that implies I understand Japanese. But as far as I know, the Japanese language does not really deal with swearing in the same way that we do. Instead of
Oh, Japanese
just
swearing.
telling someone to go and get fucked, you have to elucidate exactly how you hate them and you wish they would fucking die in the most painful manner possible.
Huh.
There's that part of it, but there's also the kind of ironic wordplay,
Oh, yes.
like kisama, where it's shortening kimi and adding sama, and it's sort of this weird ironic wordplay, and it's super. Don't say it to people.
I wasn't planning to.
All right. Well, on to our next topic. We put a good amount of time into that one. I'm quite happy
Yes.
with that.
And it's smart cars. No, wait.
I wanted to
smart
talk about altered carbon, and things like sci-fi shit, but we should keep this under an hour.
Altered Carbon is good, but I didn't enjoy Black Man.
Altered Carbon. I'm assuming that's
It's
a
not.
franchise.
It's not great.
Yes.
It's a cyberpunk book that you should check out.
Altered. Writing that one down for
Carbon.
future.
Carbon,
Carbine.
like the element.
No, carbon, like the stuff diamonds are made of.
Okay, so I wrote it right. Okay, fine.
Hmm.
Yeah, so now I put an embargo on the smart car a little while ago, but that does not preclude the ability to speak about the Google smartwatch.
Does it drive you places?
It does not, but it may drive you to a better state of mind.
Probably not.
Or insanity.
Probably, or insanity. Google, if you have not been keeping up, has finally come out with a Google smartwatch. Well, rather, they have partnered up with other companies to make smartwatches for them. It's comes under various names: Google Wear, Android Wear, Moto 360. LG's even in the mix, so is Samsung. But the idea is, instead of having to constantly pull out your phone to look at the new notifications that are coming up, you can just look at your watch. One might look at this as the poor man's Google Glass. I think perhaps.
Except nobody will have one of these.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everything is relative.
The upper middle class man's Google
The upper
Glass.
middle class man's Google Glass. I mean, no, it's about the prices are projected to be about $200, which isn't bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy a Ferrari. It's just a poor man's Lamborghini.
I like two things. I like what I've seen of the Moto 360 because I like the kind of circular screen idea.
I do too. That kind of was
It just looks
in my
nice.
mind. A circular screen.
Yeah, like I have a Pebble, but having a square screen on my watch makes me almost sometimes feel like it's like a wrist calculator. Circular screens are definitely where it's at.
For me, it makes it feel more like a wrist TV remote control.
Yeah. But the second thing that I really like is how good Google is getting at voice controls.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like they're at a place right now where it could actually work.
Yeah. I mean, apparently they also have a system they're doing for in-car systems, like for managing your radio, your CD player, your streams, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, according to like a whole bunch of different websites, the box standard technology reviewers, Engadget, Gizmodo, Ars Technica. Apparently, the voice recognition is pretty fucking spot on. So,
Unless you're Scottish, of course. That's the asterisk whenever anyone talks about voice recognition.
or Australian.
Are you going to go a fucking fifth floor? The what? I don't go to a fifth floor. God damn it.
Yeah, I think it's
Siri's yelling at you. Speak English.
I like how both I like how both Google and Apple are finally integrating things. Like on the
Yeah.
Google side, your watch can talk with your TV, can talk with your phone, and on the Apple side, you can just like flip a document from one screen to the other, like
I
we've
want
been
that.
waiting for like 20
I know.
years.
I want that. I want that. Just make it
Oh.
work for Windows. I want like
Hold
to
on
be
a
able
second.
to swipe an app from my laptop onto my desktop. I want to be able to do that, and it can't.
Oh, I
Why
can
the
kind
fuck
of
not?
do that.
Why
Yeah.
the fuck?
I can swipe web pages off of Chrome straight onto my phone, and vice versa.
Yeah, no, I mean like, okay,
I
I'm
can do a
working.
bunch of other similar stuff.
I'm working on the textbook I'm writing on on my laptop. Oh, when I get home, oh look at that, OneNote is already open, and it's waiting there for me.
Yeah, I think that is going to be finally something that they push for, which is good. Um, the one thing that none of the Google watches had, and I think it is required, because to be Dick Tracy, you need to have a camera on your watch.
Doesn't the I think
And they can do it.
the
have the
Samsung Gear
technology.
has that?
I
Yeah,
was
but
about
it's
to
a
say,
Samsung Gear.
Yeah, and
now
stupidly, the watch doesn't point at you. It points like this way, coming off of your wrist, which is
now you
stupid.
just have to address all the other things it's missing, like style
Yeah.
and
Or
being
battery
a nice watch.
Speaking of style, Android's new design language, pretty
You
good.
approve, huh?
I approve.
But
I'm
you don't
giving
like
my official.
But you don't like the phone logo.
It's dumb. It doesn't. It's okay. So I don't like skeuomorphic logos of things that were commonplace 20 years ago. So like
You mean the phone
the
handset?
save, the blocky headset, the floppy disk save. I feel like we need better, kind of better metaphors for what we do with technology.
Nelson, you have though now an entire. I mean, before we know the save icon came from floppy diskettes, but but there is an entire generation of people of who are of computer users who never interacted with a floppy diskette, and now all they associate with that picture is saving. That is the save button for them.
I don't know if it is that much anymore, though. Like, with the rise of real-time web apps and things like that, I've been looking around. I have not seen a floppy disk save icon in almost any app that I've used in the last, 6 months. It's either, it either autosaves, or it has an explicit save button, or it has, upload to the cloud kind of icon, or download from the cloud,
or you
like
go to
some
file
kind of arrow
and
thing.
save.
Yeah. I haven't seen an actual floppy disk save button in a long time.
I gotta kind of look through my stuff here. Okay, so Audition, it's just file save.
Yeah. The problem is we don't have an icon that means save right now. Just like we don't have an icon that means share. Android does it one way, iOS does it a bunch of other ways. Websites do it in weird ways.
I like the Android icon. It does sort of just embody the person to person aspect of sharing.
As a developer, though, that means branch. That means I have a branch on my software and I'm making another branch.
Yeah, I think if every UI element was designed with coders and developers in mind. Well,
every
wait a minute.
UI element
sorry.
is designed with developers and coders in mind.
No, I'm sorry. We had that with command line. That's what we.
Yeah, oh, god damn it. I was about to make that joke. Except I was going to say Emacs.
Apple's is okay. It's not perfect. It's okay. I feel like we can do better. On my blog, I just have like a swoopy arrow. It's like, hey, I want to put this somewhere, and then it opens up a thing where it's like, where do you want to put this? I think that makes sense.
Also, just as a funny, weird thing that's a side note, one thing I remember very clearly from the Tron 2.0 movie was they're in this fancy boardroom with a big glass table that works like a Microsoft Surface, throwing up images. It's got like on-screen keyboards that you can type on, things like that.
Oh, I hate
all
on-screen
these fancy UI elements and everything else. And then they're like, "Oh wait, we're getting hacked," and the fancy computer guy. The first thing he does was he just pops up a fucking Emacs terminal, and that's it, and just starts typing on Emacs. Typing into an Emacs terminal.
Forget that. How about the fact that that entire really fancy world was running inside of some, like, 80s, like, mainframe computer?
Not even that.
How?
Not even that. How about the fact that it is the second movie, but it is called Tron Legacy?
It's wrong. Maybe because in their heart of hearts they knew they were never going to make the third movie.
But a legacy system is the old one. It's a program about. It's a movie about computers. Goddammit! The legacy system is the old one.
I think they were going more on the actual primary definition of the word legacy.
But it's a movie about computers.
No, it's not a movie
takes
about.
place
It's not a movie about computers. It's not a movie about computers, Nelson. It's not a movie about computers. It's a movie about fun, cool special effects and Olivia Wilde looking especially sexy.
Isn't
I
every
still
movie
can't
about that,
understand
though?
how I'm not the most sexist person on this program.
I hated CG Jeff Bridges. He just creeped me out.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy. It was better than that X-Men movie with the fucking creepy wax face Captain Picard, but it still wasn't fantastic.
There were some moments when his CG was really good, but that last scene towards the end, terrible. I think they just wanted to get the movie done and over with, and they just, reduced the quality a little bit. Anyways.
Yeah, they needed to, speed up that render time. Like, 200 hours, let's just cut the polygons in half.
I've done terrible things to save rendering time.
Oh, fuck. You should actually see what, I can't remember if it's CryEngine or whether they call that branch CryCinema now. But it's CryEngine tech, and it can render like ridiculously detailed 4K fucking CGI video in real time on like an average desktop machine.
Huh.
That's fucking
you gotta
crazy
be running,
to me.
On what? Running on Titan or something?
No, like I checked out the specs. I could do that on my machine.
Huh.
And my machine was pretty powerful 5 years ago.
All right, well, while we're talking about movies and media and stuff, let's move on to the last, or perhaps second to last topic, depending on how we're doing on time. Yeah, maybe the last topic.
Hey, Nelson, he's getting smoother at that, isn't he?
It would have been perfect if you hadn't opened your big fat mouth.
That's the point.
Yeah, thank you, Churba. Thanks. Netflix, the media company of which we are all adored and we all have a permanent tie to our wallets for, is setting up to release an anime. Yes, after what is it? 2 hit series? How many series do they have? I mean, I know they have Orange. Yeah, I mean they have
Orange is the New Black.
They can't really say
one
Arrested.
about politics.
Yeah, they can't say Arrested Development because they
No, not Arrested Development, but the one
House
with
of
the
Cards.
through Norway.
They have the House of Cards.
Hold on
And,
a second,
like,
I'm
2 or 3
pulling
other
up the
ones.
list.
Oh, he's pulling it. He's pulling up the list.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, oh my god. There is a lot here. Okay, Hemlock Grove, Lilyhammer, House of Cards, Bad Samaritan.
Lilyhammer is really good.
Orange is the New Black. 3 kids series, though 2 of those were ones they picked up from other people, and a whole shitload of specials and miniseries and films.
Huh. I should check out. Toss a link to that in the chat here, and I'll stick it in the thing. But
it's just on Wikipedia for all you folks who don't have our chat window.
Okay, it's in Wikipedia, but I'll put a link into it anyways. But Netflix is set to release this coming July 4th an anime. It's based on the manga Knights of Sidonia, which Churba is in the process of reading or has read, one of the two.
I can't remember if
Um,
it's finished or not.
but it looks to be pretty good. I mean, well, based on the trailer. I mean, as much as you can judge anything by a trailer, anyways. So, Churba, can you give us like a sort of a description about the manga, and we can kind of assume that the anime is similar.
Dude, my manga list is like 300 strong. I'm lucky I can remember what I'm reading now. Hold on, I'm pulling up a quick refresher.
It sort of looks similar to Macross.
It does look a little bit Robotech-y, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see, what loads first, Wikipedia or my anime list? Well, hey, alright, my anime list got there first, so fuck you, Jimmy Wales. Alright, here's your synopsis. It's been 1,000 years since the Ghana, a strange alien race with no known method of communication, destroyed the solar system. A portion of humanity managed to escape using enormous seed ships, in scare quotes for some reasons, like the Sidonia,
Ships.
which have allowed them to maintain the population while drifting through space. I'm about to butcher this name. Nagate Tanikaze is a young man who has been raised deep in the bowels of the ship, insomuch as a ship has bowels. When he goes into training to pilot the huge robotic weapons known as guards, spelt like the French guards,
Gundams!
Nagate is entrusted with piloting the legendary unit known as Sugimori.
I'm sorry, wait, stop. He's just gotten out of training, and he's entrusted to pilot a legendary unit.
No, bro, he's a new type.
Yo, dog, manga.
Not here's this clunker you can run around the block a few times. No, here's this fucking badass one.
He got straight A's on his.
If I remember
micropiloting
correctly,
class.
there are circumstances that make that a lot more reasonable. Like, it's something about how they're running out of resources or some shit like that, or how they can't really just build new ones. They only have the ones they have.
That still doesn't
He
make
should.
sense. Okay,
I hope
fine.
he Horatio Hornblowered it and took command when everyone else was dying in the heat of battle, and it was the closest mecha that he could find, and so he just jumped in and kicked ass.
I like to think he honored Harrington did. But
I don't, because those books are so badly written.
those books are my guilty pleasure. I'm sorry.
Oh. No, that's fair enough. I mean, like, if you're into that kind of stuff, they do go into extraordinarily detailed descriptions of fucking everything.
I know, it's
But
great.
they also go into extraordinarily detailed descriptions about fucking everything in the worst way possible. So
I know.
I haven't seen an info dump that bad since fucking Snow Crash.
Oh no, yeah, no, it info dumps a lot, but it's really my jam. I wish they would have spend a little bit more time on the, they do take a long time. No, I take that back. I wish they would take less time moving the story along, because sometimes it's just like an entire chapter that's like, yeah, I could have skipped that whole chapter in retrospect.
Yeah, pretty much.
But anyways, I mean, this is really, I mean, you're looking at what Netflix is doing with all these original series, and this anime was just sort of brought up as an example, but this is sort of ushering in a new age, I think, of really tightly knit vertical integration. I mean, Netflix is no longer just a distribution company anymore. They are now, they're producing, they're advertising. I can't drive down the street without seeing a billboard for a Netflix original series or something on the side of a bus. So it's really interesting the new turn their vertical integration is taking. I'm wondering if it's gonna stick though, as the old media companies decide to get their asses moving on shit. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I feel like they're doing good things. They're one of the only kind of media I actually pay for. Like, I pay for Netflix. I buy music on Bandcamp sometimes. Occasionally, if I am super lazy, I will do an Amazon video rental thing. Mostly just for Gordon Ramsay, because I love me some Gordon Ramsay.
You all up in that Hell's Kitchen business?
Oh, yeah.
Real Hell's Kitchen, or US Hell's Kitchen?
No, I've actually been watching the UK Kitchen Nightmares, which is pretty good.
Have you seen the one where
It's-
that fucking crazy French chef nearly stabs him?
Ah!
No, but I'm gonna watch it right now.
Oh man, I've been actually watching. I've been watching more American Top Gear recently. Because I've run out of. I've
What do
run
they
out
have,
of.
like Chevrolets.
No,
cars?
well, they do have a propensity towards American cars, but they also drive imports and all that kind of stuff. But it's been it's not what it is. I've decided that it is not. It's just it is a good car show. It is a good car show in its own right, but it is absolutely nothing like British Top Gear, except for the fact that it has 3 hosts and occasionally a Stig.
Yeah, I think that's really the mistake they made with the US Top Gear, is that they basically took the format without renaming it to something else to get away from that branding, because as long as you have that branding, it's always going to come up negatively to UK Top Gear.
They didn't take the format. Every
you should
episode.
have seen the early seasons, cuz.
Well, the new seasons, anyways. I see. That's a show I wish was on Netflix. It's not on Netflix. What the hell?
Tell it to someone who has Netflix.
I know. The new episodes are basically just the cool adventure parts of British Top Gear. It's the entire episodes of the, here's X amount of money, go get a car, come back. You're driving to place X, complete challenges along the way. So
I must admit, I'm kind of sad that the Australian Top Gear got cancelled, because it was actually a legitimately good Top Gear show, as well as being a good car show in its own right.
Oh yeah, I watched a bunch of episodes of Aussie Top Gear. It was great.
Yeah, even the UK hosts were like, yeah, no, this is a really good version of Top Gear.
Oh, too bad it got canned.
Yeah, not enough viewers, so what can you do, I guess?
That really surprises me. In a country that is pretty much almost as car happy as the United States, I would say that it's kind of odd that it didn't have as big of an audience.
It's because we just have always had the fucking original Top Gear, because the BBC shares so many programs with the ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, for free. Because it's like, hey, you're part of the Commonwealth, and basically the deal going is that we have a very similar deal where we have ABC stores and merchandise where they sell merchandise and box sets and all that shit. And the BBC gets a cut of that from BBC shows.
Yeah.
We've also always had Doctor Who, so suck it, America.
We were talking about something.
Oh yes, Netflix, which I can't get here.
Right. Oh.
They refuse to expand into this market, despite the fact that this country is fucking howling for services like that, and we just can't get any that have the clout to get anything decent. Netflix could do it in the snap of a finger, but they won't do it, and I don't know why.
And then what's his face? Abbott killed not Tony Abbott. Wait.
Yeah, Tony Abbott.
Yeah,
he killed
Tony Abbott. Yeah, he killed that wonderful high-speed internet access.
Yeah, we were gonna have fucking fiber to the home, like all the way through fiber. It was gonna be fucking great, like FiOS as a standard fucking internet connection. But then Tony Abbott's like, nah, I don't like technology. Also, what's this global warming shit?
And immigration.
Actually, the Liberals released a pamphlet recently which was about immigration, and they're like trying to make it look reasonable to keep out a few black sheep, except they literally had white sheep on the Australian continent kicking out a black sheep, and I'm like, I think this is a metaphor for something, guys. It might be that you're all enormous racists.
Maybe just a bit.
Actually, no. To be fair, there is There are a few good Liberal Party members. Like a little bit further north, there's a bloke called Wyatt Roy. This little prick's younger than me. I think he's only like 23 or 24. And to be honest, he looks like he doesn't even have pubes yet. Like this, and like I've met him at a couple of parties just up north because it's just the circles that some people I know travel in. You know, you get invited to parties occasionally because you have a license for boats that applies to very large boats. So
What's his
you know,
name?
they go,
Wyatt what?
Wyatt Roy with 2 T's in Wyatt.
Roy.
Yes. But, you know, people invite you up, hey, can you pilot my boat while I get drunk? Yeah, why not? Fucking alright. You gonna pay me? Yeah, alright.
This kid
There you go.
this kid looks like he's not even old enough to drive.
There you go.
What the hell?
Well, he doesn't need to now. It's just fucking cheeky little prick's got Commonwealth cars.
Jesus. Huh. Okay then, well. Oh my god, he was born in 1990. He's younger than me. Oh my
Yeah.
the fuck? That's wrong.
So,
Well, good for
let's
him.
see.
Good for him, I guess.
1990.
Oh, yeah. All right, so
Yeah,
looks
he's
like we got
24. Cool.
we got a little bit of time left. Churba, do you want to talk a little bit about the new Mad Max movie? If you want. Oh god. For those of you in Radio Land, Churba has just held a finger gun up to his head and feigned suicide.
Yeah. Yes, no, but the new Mad Max movie, it's certainly something. It has things that can be said both in its favor and against it, I suppose.
Let's start
Basically,
with
the
the
story is that
and go for
George
it.
Miller, the original director of Mad Max and Happy Feet, funnily enough, has yeah,
Really? Huh. Okay. Go on. It's just weird.
but he's finally managed to get Mad Max Fury Road out of development hell. And when I say it's been in development hell for quite a while, I mean it. And I mean it as in when they originally cast Fury Road, it was still a period of time where you would say, hey, Mel Gibson said something. I think we should probably listen to what he has to say.
Oh no. Wow, that is a long-ass time, my friend.
Hey, don't look at me, man. He's from New York.
And don't look at me. New
I'm
England,
kind
New
of
York.
looking at you, Nelson. But anyway.
Don't look at me. I
I'm
only
looking-
live here.
That's right. He's from the Bay Area. We are all absolved here.
Okay, I'm looking through time and space at... Wait, do I actually know anyone who's from New York? I think everyone I know from New York actually, like,
Is it
moved
from? Yeah, Rim is from Michigan.
Detroit, in fact.
Yeah.
Respect
Scott
for
is,
the
I think.
Detroit
Scott is,
reality.
I think Scott's from Connecticut.
I don't fucking know. I never asked.
Adam. I think Adam is from New York.
All right, Adam. It's Adam's fault. It is directly Adam's fault that Mel Gibson is an anti-Semite.
Irony upon irony.
But anyway, a number of pictures have come out as...
Adam, what did you?
Don't talk to Adam. He's not on the show.
Yeah, and he's probably not going to listen to it either. I don't even listen to
Probably.
Friday Night Party Line, and I have to edit the damn thing.
That explains so much. But anyway, back to it. Buddy,
Back to
you know, a number of pictures have come out now of Fury Road and the cars and Tom Hardy as Max and Cherie. Fuck, what the hell is her goddamn name? Charlize Theron.
Darren.
As a woman with a robot arm. 2 topics in one. What do you know?
Hey.
And I'll be honest, like, it's good. George Miller is back in the saddle. He's, you know, directing. He'll probably give it some decent respect. It looks like they're going for about the right kind of setting. They're not making the mistake that, say, Fast and the Furious does, where we've only just caught up to the Tokyo Drift section of the timeline, but somehow all of the cars in the latest Fast and the Furious movies are newer than the ones in the series that supposedly happens in the future from them,
Yeah, that's so
and all
wrong.
sorts of weird fuck around there. You know, they've got some pretty sick cars, but the thing is, it's also a lot of American cars. The lead actors are all non-Australian. Like Tom Hardy is Welsh, I think. Yeah, Mrs. Theron is from South
That'll do.
Africa, but has an American accent, as far as I know.
Yes, she does.
I mean, it's not really filmed here. It's filmed like kind of a little bit here, and mostly in Namibia, and then a little bit here again.
I thought it
But
was
on the
Namibia.
upside, Namibia, I don't know, one of them. So I guess we're just going to have to see how it goes. It is. I do find it a bit disappointing that a lot of the cars in it seem to be American cars from the shots we've seen. Like there's a bunch of Cadillacs, there's some Camaros, Chargers, there is even a Humvee. But the thing is that while yes, those cars exist and they are old cars that would fit the time period, the thing is that we just didn't have them here. Trying to find, like, say, a GTO or a Camaro down here is like, buddy, trying to find hen's teeth or rockin' horse shit. You just don't find them anywhere. Let alone in great enough numbers for them to be chopped up and turned into Mad Max hot rods.
But then again, it's Mad Max, so...
And I suppose at least since Tom Hardy is Welsh, we do have a chance of having a decent Australian accent out of him. I'm sorry, Americans. You can't do accents. Just give up.
No, we can't.
No.
And I can't decide which is worse.
The only kind of
Australian
accents...
accents out of Herc and Chuck in Pacific Rim, or the people who were saying about the Australian accents in Django. They're like, oh yeah, buddy, the accents on those Australian guys are so bad. And yeah, I can understand that for Tarantino, but the other guy was John Jarratt, who is a famous Australian actor from like Wolf Creek and shit like that. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with you guys and accents. Just please give us
The only kind of accents Americans can do are terrible ones.
To be fair, mine are pretty terrible too, but
I was watching this show about it was about this British kid who it was an anime. This British kid who came to do a homestay in Japan, and all of every actor that was supposedly speaking English, their English was terrible. It was hilarious to listen to.
I don't know. I think the funnier one is probably there is a manga. I don't know if there's an anime of it, but there's definitely a manga called Emma, and it's set in Victorian England.
That's the one that's about maids but is not actually pervy.
Yes,
Right?
it's about maids
Yes.
like proper maids, not like maids that you would draw shit on your fucking food.
Huh. Emma, Victorian Romance.
Yes, but the thing is that they are the most Japanese-ass British people you have ever met. It's the same with Black Butler, where everyone in that manga is British or German or generally European, except for like I think one Chinese guy, and they are all the most Japanese British people you have ever seen.
Huh. All right, well, with that, I think we should just move along and wrap up the show with whatever our specific things of the day should be. I don't know. You guys want me to go ahead first and give you some time, or?
I already know what I've got, but man, you are losing it.
I was
sort of things of the day.
I was sort of charring a bottle cap on my desk while I was doing that.
What happened? What happened to our charming and vivacious Victor Frost?
Shut the fuck up, Churba.
Just consider yourself like I didn't call you voluptuous.
Hey, you know what? It would not
No,
be.
I don't.
It would not.
Go on.
It would not be inaccurate, unfortunately.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm on the chubby side, man. I'm trying to lose it, but I will not deny what I am. Anywho.
Oh, so good.
All right, then, Churba,
I'd
since
say
you
you're
seem-
American and thin.
No, I'm fatter than the average American, which is saying something. But go ahead. But go ahead, Churba. You said you had a thing of the day.
Yes. There is a channel on YouTube called Motor Trend, and they have a show called Roadkill, where basically two lunatics get together and do lunatic things with cars. And I could just give you the episode summaries that don't actually sound that crazy, but it's more just the stuff that happens. Like, for example, they restore a 68 Charger at one point. And that sounds pretty normal, yeah. Except to do that, they basically get a rolling chassis full of rat turds and fucking God knows what else. And then blow all that out. It's missing parts, it's missing fenders, it's missing all of the running gear. It doesn't even have brakes on it. And they basically replace all of the bits with a hacked up 24 Hours of Lemons car and a 440 big block Mopar out of a Pace Arrow motorhome. And the whole thing, like, everything they do for some reason just goes incredibly wrong and takes a turn for the ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it is an excellent show. You should watch it.
Yeah, there's an episode, I think it's one of the first, I think it's one of the early ones, where they do an engine swap, and they decide, we're not going to do the whole thing where we're going to try to swap the engine in a garage, and we're going to have to run back and forth to the parts store every time. No, we're just going to do the engine shop in the parking lot of the parts store.
Yep, right out the front of an Elco.
Right. So if you are a fan of cars, which you definitely should be, you should watch this show. It's a good show. Nelson, have you seen this show?
I have not.
Nelson, you're going to watch this show.
Okay.
Yep. Nelson, have you got a thing that you want to share with the fine people of the Friday Night Party Line audience?
Yeah, I will plug the indie game Democracy 3. It is by the famed indie game designer whose name I forget, who made a bunch of games that if I mentioned them, you would be like, oh yeah, I remember that game. It was really cool. I believe he also, among those games, did Game Dev Story and a few other ones. He's a really good game designer. Anyway, in Democracy 3, you get to control a nation by setting policy and seeing how it all goes horribly, horribly wrong. Pro tip, Americans are highly resistant to socialism. It's a fun game, though. I highly recommend play it in one window and then watch The West Wing in the other window. It's a good pairing.
I still maintain that one of the best games of that style, or the best game of that style, is Tropico, because the best building you can build is a rum distillery. So,
Nice.
Actually, I just pulled up the Steam store, since we are having a Steam sale right now, as every single fucking one of you should know.
Yes.
And I'm actually struck with a very hard choice for what to vote for the next sale, whether I should go for utilities, animation, and modeling, or utilities, audio production, because I want things from both of those sets.
What are you looking at in audio production?
Playclaw is pretty cool, Liquid Rhythm is pretty cool, MorphVox Pro voice changer is pretty cool. And then in the animation and modeling, there's also Substance Designer, Fuse, and Ray Supreme, all of which I really want to get.
What are those running at? What are those running at for prices?
On the audio side, it's mostly anywhere between $10 and $25, and on the modeling side, it is $10 to $50, with Substance Designer being $50 and everything else being $20, $25, and $10.
Yeah, if you are not on the, if you're not getting on the Steam Summer Sale, you should definitely go check it out. It's almost over. It's going to end on the 30th, and you still have a chance to pick up some good games and to sell all your Steam trading cards for Steam Store cash. So make your purchases. I actually got a few good games. I got Grid 2 with all the DLC, so I'm diving right into that. made by the same people that make Dirt 3, Codemasters. So it's not as good as a game as I thought it was going to be, but it's still fun. Anyway, so
Payday 2 is $6 as of the time of this recording. If you do not have Payday 2, go and spend the $6 and buy it. You will not regret it.
I would, except I am saving up money because I'm going to be performing at Anime Expo 2014 this coming 4th of July weekend, July 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I will be at the Los Angeles Expo Center performing. If you are going to be in LA and you're going to Anime Expo, you should definitely stop by and say hi. I'm doing a whole mess of panels. First panel I'm going to be doing is on Thursday at noon. It's going to be How to Survive Your First Convention. It's where I basically give you the rundown of what some tips and tricks that I've picked up from not only my own experiences in conventioning, but also from a whole bunch of my friends, Churba included. Churba, you have an entire slide just for you in that presentation.
I can dig it.
Yeah. Also on Friday, I think it's going to be I'm going to say Friday at noon. I'm going to say Friday at noon. It may in fact be getting my dates wrong here. But yeah, let's go with Friday at noon. Friday at noon, I'm going to be doing the very last time I will be doing the My Little Pony Sound is Magic panel at Anime Expo. I'm retiring it from Anime Expo this year, so it's going to be the last time I'm doing it then. If you don't go to any other anime conventions in the Southern California area, that is going to be it. I'll be doing it again. I'll be submitting it again for Pacific Media Expo in August, and for Anime Los Angeles, which is going to be next January. And then after Anime Los Angeles, I'm never doing that panel here in Southern California ever again. So that's going to be that. And then on Saturday at 7:30 at night, I'm going to be doing my workshop, So You Want to Make an Audio Drama. That's going to be a 2-hour workshop where I walk the entire audience step by step through the creation of an audio drama. We're going to be writing the script, coming up with characters, the whole shebang. And we're going to be producing and recording it right there. So if you're interested in that, you should definitely stop by and check it out. But for actually my thing of the day, I have a short little video. It's sort of a PSA about. Well, I'm not going to spoil it. It's called Playthings, and I'm not going to really say anything more about it than that. You should check it out. It's 30 seconds long, so yeah, just watch it. It's fun. And that sort of brings the show to a close. Thanks, guys, for coming in. It was a good episode. I think we had a good talk about what we talked about.
And what did we talk about, Victor?
We talked about the Netflixes. I have a list. I can't answer this. But anyways, thanks Churba, thanks Nelson. Once again, as always, you guys have been great guests. But then again, that's why you're the core Friday Night Party Line guests and co-hosts and stuff. So thanks for being here for me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Victor.
If you were just hanging out on your own.
Yeah. Oh no, I've tried that. It's been boring as fuck. But yeah, thanks for not forcing me to have to do a clip show for this month. We've gone like 2 years without a clip show. It's been great. All right. Well, anyways, that's been Friday Night Party Line, and we will see you next month. And